When it comes to Denny Hamlin and his latest move at Pocono, the whole world is in shock. It seems like the NASCAR world hasn't been able to fully grasp the magnitude of his actions against Kyle Larson, a former Cup Series champion. And this time, even Hamlin's own driver in 2311 Racing, Bubba Wallace, has turned his back on him. Hamlin has already been known as one of the most unpopular racers in NASCAR, and after sharing his support with Bubba, this is the last thing that he would have wanted to receive as a repercussion. Is this the beginning of the end of things between the most infamous duo in the sport? The NASCAR caravan is now long gone from the Pocono Raceway, but it seems like the drama that happened there is not something that we would do in order to stop the talks that have emerged from the altercation between Hamlin and Larson. In order to take the lead, Hamlin had to make an aggressive move on Larson, one that saw the Hendrick Motorsport Racing driver lose out on second place and finish 21st, receiving a massive blow in playoff contention. The fact that Hamlin's win wasn't celebrated by the fans, but rather booed all the way while he was waving his hand towards the crowd, has provoked a very interested tweet from the JGR driver. A lot of 11s out there, meaning that there are a lot of Larson fans and not many fans that actually understood the nature of the incident. It was pure racing. It seems like Hamlin doesn't believe that contact happened between him and Larson, mostly because there wasn't any dent on his car that could prove that. When talking about this matter, the JGR driver went on to add that it was all in the spirit of racing and there was no way he would apologize for something that has been done to him as well. But this comes after a very controversial incident between him and Ross Chastain earlier this year in Kansas. And it goes without saying that Hamlin has started to become one of the most hated drivers on the grid. Be that as it may, it seems like he is not getting the support from the one driver you would anticipate to bleed out for Hamlin, regardless of whether or not he is in the right: Bubba Wallace. After everything he's been through with 2311 Racing and the accident in Las Vegas with Larson, Hamlin did nothing but support him and provide a lot of moral help for his upbringing, only for Wallace to go out and say that the move by Hamlin was definitely bad and he's a dirty driver after all. I'm not saying that he should have defended him, even though it was more than obvious that Hamlin was in the wrong, but a little less aggressive approach to this entire situation would have been a huge thank you from Hamlin. He has stood there for Wallace when no one else did, and when Wallace was on the brink of extinction from the NASCAR sport due to his shenanigans in 2311 last year, it was Hamlin who persuaded Michael Jordan and his partners to continue the collaboration with him. Not only did he prove to be worthy of the seat as he finally made the playoffs, but he slammed Hamlin for his actions in Pocono, something that I don't really think that the JGR driver and the owner of the Toyota car that Wallace drives will agree to. When talking about this incident, Wallace went on to say, "That's the new defense mechanism. Denny touched him, by the way. Definitely was contact. The late in the corner, you're showing your true colors, right? You're showing your full hand." I think I've had moments where racing around Seat Bell at Vegas this year, we would meet each other maybe 3/4 marks at the corner and he would get tight and would force me to lift. Both had enough time to figure out what was going on, but it's those moments where he knows that I'm gonna have to lift at some point and I don't. Well, then it kind of forces the hand back on the inside guy. Some people will abide by that, some people won't. Furthermore, Wallace went on to compare this incident to what happened between him and Larson in Vegas or Ross and Noah at Kansas this year, saying that you cannot drive in the corner and pack air anymore and get somebody loose. If you get underneath somebody and get tight, the other driver has every right to get tight too. But according to him, the driver who is pushing should at least give a chance to its competitor to see the end of the corner rather than running them in the fence and passing them in that way. Therefore, while it's definitely true that Hamlin was in the wrong in the altercation with Larson, as been said by his teammate Martin Truex Jr., the way that Martin and Bubba have elaborated on this matter differs a lot. Not a lot of people in the NASCAR world would have expected Bubba to go that hard on his car owner. But it seems like he's sick and tired of listening to different comments on his name, such as "you have to improve" and "stop acting like a child," when he threw the middle finger on Eric Almirola at the end of the Coca-Cola 600. While both of them are considered to be close friends in and out of the track, it's definitely something that gets the attention of the viewers, especially after Hamlin has shown his support to Wallace for his championship aspirations in 2023. It seems like there's a lot that is happening in the background for the Alabama native. And while he has yet to win a race, he is currently having his best season and is 54 points above the playoff cutoff line, something that was deemed impossible after the Atlanta 2 race, where he struggled a lot to maintain a proper pace and finished 25th, receiving yet another major threat to his playoff hopes. When talking about Bubba's hopes for the remainder of the season, Hamlin had nothing but praise for his driver as he went on to elaborate. "I certainly like where Bubba's at now compared to what he was a few weeks ago. I think that the team's really done a good job of, playing the game, managing the races the proper way, and that's what's got them the points cushion they've got. It's still not locked in, right? You still want to come out of this racetrack. If he's got plus 56, let's get it to plus 70, right? You gotta keep setting goals. Keep expanding this thing to give yourself some buffer going into those last few weeks." This comes as a heavy morale booster for Wallace because earlier this month, Hamlin did not hold words against 2311 Racing and said that he wasn't happy at all with how the team treated their drivers, as he asked them to give a bit more performance and execution on the team's part. Hamlin believed that the majority of the fault was to be found in the team's leadership and not the driver's input, which is definitely something that shows how much hope he has in Bubba to make everything work in his make-or-break season. And apart from Wallace and Martin Truex, who is Denny's teammate at JGR, Larson doesn't seem to be forgetting the Pocono incident anytime soon. And while he said that he will still remain friends with Denny outside of the track, what he did in Pocono is not something that should be forgiven very quickly and should serve as a solid foundation for NASCAR's further penalties. When talking about this matter, Larson went on to add, "I think I'm a very fair person. I make mistakes, but when I ran Bubba in the fence, I said he had every right to be mad at me. I even told NASCAR, please don't suspend him because I caused that. I think I'm fair with how I respond to things most times. I tend to blow things over quickly. I think the media would love to get more out of me a lot of times. I feel I do a good job of that most times. This time, I probably let it linger on my attitude this week because it's happened more often with him than any other driver in my career. And then a win was taken. That also makes you frustrated. The fact that Hamlin remains the most successful NASCAR Cup Series driver without a championship remains as it is. And with his 50th win at Pocono, he has only extended this record even further. It goes without saying that his actions against Larson made a vast contingent of people angry. But if they are gonna keep it like it is, then rest assured that Hamlin is going to have a very tough time in this sport for the remainder of the season. So what do you think about Wallace's comments on Hamlin? Let us know in the comments below. And after you do that, make sure to watch our next video that will pop up on your screen and subscribe to our channel for more videos of this type.